Well, here we are again.
Yeah. Third time.
When you kind of go through this, and I'm sure you have a better idea of what's going on than we do, but does it ever get taxing to not be totally sure on a week-to-week basis?
For sure. I mean, that's part of it. Man, you kind of know that kind of going into the situation that you're in based on the start of the year. But I mean, I try not to let that really affect me too much. But it definitely, I mean, it gets a little redundant,
Does it help to know a couple days ahead of time instead of knowing 2 hours before the game that you're starting?
I will never know 2 hours before a game if I'm playing or not. I'll make sure I know that. I know before I get on the plane.
You've had this team within 4 points of winning, tying the game twice. What does a third opportunity to get that win? What does that mean?
I mean, just another. That's the past, and obviously, like you said, we've been close on a lot of these, but and just find ways to, like Coach said, close those margins and get over the hump. We're right there, but when you look at the film and you see plays in these critical situations where we know that we can, close the gap. I think that's what the things that we're looking forward to doing this week.
You're averaging 299 passing yards in the last 2 weeks, 4 touchdowns, and maybe 1 pick. How do you feel about how you're playing right now?
Not good enough to win. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is to win, and so I got to find a way to, like I said, get over the hump and get a win.
Not many opportunities in your career to play on Monday night, for any player. What's it like for you, just the challenge and getting to be out there in such a big stage?
I mean, it's the NFL. Every game is a big stage. You grow up as a kid dreaming of playing. I don't care if it's Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Friday. And so this is obviously another game, and I'm thankful for this opportunity and going out there to try my best and make the most of it.
The numbers, as Josh was saying, have obviously been really good. Where do you feel like you can do better?
It's those margins. It's those details in on third down and red zone and those those plays where that you can put your stamp on the game and finding ways to score more points, get in the end zone. I mean, I love Chad, but he's kicked a lot of field goals, so just got to find a way for him to kick for 1 and not for 3 sometimes,
The receivers have talked about how the passing game has found a rhythm. Do you agree with that? What does that mean? How do you define rhythm in a passing game?
I mean, I'm glad they said that. And it's a continuous process throughout the year of trying to, I'm gaining more, reps with these guys and more, continuity is the right word, I think. So just trying to build that rapport with those guys and open the line of communication for, I'm kind of doing it not short weeks, but, without training camp rep with those guys. So I'm kind of doing it through, trial and error on practice and then trying to beat the error before it happens type of deal. But, those guys have been doing a good job, and the receivers, tight ends, and the running backs in the passing game and making the most of their opportunities. And we got a big challenge coming up this week, and I'm hoping that it continues.
What's it like having an upper echelon tight end to throw to? And Trey, obviously, he's just blossomed into an awesome target for anyone throwing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and as good as he is, I still think he's underrated. That's the crazy part. It's a lot of fun being on the field with him. His energy that he brings to the game. His intensity. It's fun to see that. And I told him, I've become a fan of him, obviously from afar, watching him throughout his career, but obviously being here and being up and close and personal with him and being able to, kind of contribute to a little bit of his career. It's been fun. I'm thankful that he's on our team.
Which part of the game do you think is underrated?
I just don't think he gets. I mean, in the run game, he's not the biggest guy. He's handling edges, and then you go back and watch the Colts game, and first, second, and third down, he's getting double teamed. You rarely see that in a tight end. First and second down getting double teamed, and that shows the respect that he has around his league.
With the way the Cowboys have played a lot of games, they obviously have a very explosive offense. And the defense that has given up some points. Do you ever go into a game thinking, okay, this could be a shootout? Or otherwise, do you look at games like that?
Nah, I'm just trying to score one more point than they do, and that's it. And get out of this thing with a win, and however it comes.
Are you glad to not be facing Micah Parsons again this week?
I wouldn't care, but he's not there, so I don't really think about him that much anymore.
What could a win
When
on?
your coaches say, hey, he's been in the league a decade, he's seen everything, is that accurate?
Yes, I have been in the league a decade, that's for sure. Seeing everything, I don't know, I'm still seeing new things every day, every week. So, yeah, I've been in the league for a decade, that's for sure. That's crazy to say, but yeah, that's probably the only true part of that statement.
So when they're dialing stuff up, I mean, you're still you're processing. It's not a matter of, you're breaking the hunt and go, oh yeah, I've seen this before, 3 years ago. Or
Some of it, but some of it, I think what he's referring to is just the ability to process it a little faster and get to where the ball needs to go a little bit faster. And I think that my decade of being in the league has helped me do that.
This will be a lot of eyes. The Cowboys Monday night, a good opportunity for the country to see what the Cardinals have to bring. What do you want the country to see from this team?
Could care less who's watching. I just want to go win.
Thanks.
Okay. Happy Saturday. Good to see you guys. Okay. With the quarterback, looking at the week of work today, Kyler is not going to be ready to start the game, so Jacoby will start. Obviously, you feel good about Jacoby. I do want to give it the next couple days to see if Kyler could possibly have a role on game day. So that's with that. Garrett and Walt are progressing well. Got to see him practice today, and we'll make that decision in the next 48 hours. BJ had a really good day. It was good to see him out there. He looked really good to me. Honestly, but he will not be up and playing. Other than that, I think everybody's out there. We had a really good day yesterday. It was spirited. It was fast and aggressive. So that was good to see. Coming out of a bye, when you're going, and I know we had the bonus day, but you're always looking to kind of see our tempo, coming out of the bye. Now sitting back there with Monty, it was a good day of practice. So we got to follow that up today. And then got to play good football to win a game here.
Is Kyler's injury, is there potential it could be long-term?
Yeah, I don't, what does that really mean? You know what I mean, Josh? Everyone's different, every player, every injury is kind of unique. And he's been pushing, we've been pushing. He is getting better. He's had some more work this last week, but he's, like I said, he's just not ready to go yet. But as far as obviously that position's a little bit different because you got to have a plan ready. That's why I'm just saying Jacoby's starting. But if you can have a role, he can have a role. But you take it one day at a time. But I know he wants to be out there and he's doing everything he can. It's just he's not quite there yet.
Why could that be the case where he's ready to be active but not ready to start?
Yeah, that's a good question, Teo. I'm not trying to be coy, but there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen in 2 days that you would make the decision what's best for the player and best for the team to that be the case. You know what I mean? So you probably don't know what I mean, but I think you do know what I mean, so weird things have happened outside of your control for 48 hours leading up to a game, and things change, and so that's kind of the reason.
Is IR on the table for him?
As I sit here today, no.
Is it purely health related that he would not start?
Yeah.
With Ojulari, is 3 weeks enough time for him to get back into full football shape to get to the point where he can play?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to like this one, but we'll see, I mean, I hope, but that it's, with all our guys coming back from injury, and certain guys that, all the different designations, if they get hurt during the, Garrett, as different than BJ, different than Walt, down the road, Trey Benson, LJ Collier, those guys, like it's different, so you don't know. You just take it one day at a time. But you know, he definitely, like I said, he had a good day. It was good to see him out there. I was actually a little bit surprised how fast and how he, I guess for a better lack of term, cut it loose yesterday. I thought he did a good job.
How is Trey Benson doing?
He's doing well. He's getting better. Our return to play things, you know, there's, you know, early return to play, you're just in the training room the whole time with the performance staff and with the athletic training staff. And then as they get closer, you start to assimilate them into meetings again, you know, so they get their mind back on football a little bit too. But he's at that point right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Is Amari DeMarcano ready to play?
Yeah.
How has he handled everything since the Titans game in terms of emotion?
Comes to work. I mean, he's a pro. He does his job and tries to get better every day. He's a good teammate.
Does Michael Carter being on the practice squad impact how you would deploy him if he is elevated on game day, or do you treat anyone who's active on the roster on game day the same?
Same. That's why I say that's a good question. Like our practice squad guys know, like, you know, it's a moment's notice, you know. Things could change today, like what I just told all you guys, you know, right now, that could change here in 2 hours, you know what I mean? But that's the reality of the NFL. So, because you're going to go practice for an hour and a half, and I don't exactly know what's going to happen, you know, with our health. But, you know, they have to prepare like they're going to play, just like everybody on our team does. That's what I want their mentality to be, like, you know, roles change quickly, you know, and I even think, like, too, like if we got guys, some guys know that they're backups, but they prepare to be the starter. Like you don't know when your role's going to change like that. So they got to prepare like they're going to play, and they got to go in and play well.
Harris was saying earlier this week that among the offensive line, they've talked a lot about wanting to get back to being road graders in the run game and kind of get back to that identity. I'm curious, like, is that something they're talking amongst themselves? Is that something you've tried to make a priority coming out of the bye again?
Yeah, I think that's a cool storyline, but I think coming out of the bye, there's two things that Coach Fry and Coach Cook, when we looked at the 7 games, what we thought would be the biggest return on investment, where we wanted to put emphasis, and one of them related it to the run game and the other one the pass game. But, yeah, I mean, I want our O-line to play with a lot of effort and violence and block the right people and get on people and move them laterally and vertically. So that we can run the ball efficiently, you know. But it takes all of those guys, and then it goes inside out. It goes, what's the quarterback doing? What are the tight ends doing? The receivers doing? What are the backs doing? So you need all 11 to play well to have a productive play.
With Kyler coming back on Monday, were you anticipating that he'd be healthy enough to play, and this is something that kind of progressed throughout the week, or did you kind of have that sense back then that there's a chance he might not?
No. Well, I mean, what I said is what I said. I mean, you know. Just take it one day at a time with them.
You hear a lot of coaches talk about it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Monja River comes to the season. Other coaches say it's 17 consecutive sprints. I'm curious how you view football season. Sprint
today. That's what we'll be doing. I know that. You got to maximize the day, you know. You know, I was actually thinking about your question the other day. You know, because it's like, wow, like that kind of is the truth. Like, what does separate winning and losing, you know? And it's like the week of prep. That's why every day counts, every second counts. This day's just as important as the bonus Tuesday to yesterday to tomorrow, even though we're not, you know, going fast on the grass. That walkthrough and meetings, like those are important. And then all the different things of psychological prep, your health bucket, your physical bucket, all those things matter throughout a week. And then when you get to game day, you got 60 minutes, maybe if you go in overtime a little bit more, but it truly does come down to collectively, can you play better than the other team, you know, and that's what it takes. So To me, it's a 60-minute sprint, but today's practice is a sprint too. You got to have urgency. You got to be on edge the right way without getting anxious, but everything matters.
With the running backs, obviously Amari has a unique skill set. You guys like him as a pass catcher, third down type of back. How do you see Mike and Bam's skill sets being different or similar?
Yeah, I mean, they're all three of them are a little bit different players, what they bring to the table, but I love how Autry trains those guys. Like, all three of those guys, I feel good about playing on first, second, third down. I really do. Now, do each of them bring a little bit different skill set to what that role looks like? Yes. But I don't hesitate to put any of them out there and any down and distance.
Bam talks about he basically went 2 years without regular season reps just because of injury and his situation. And he's found sort of a rhythm and comfort. Do you see that over these last couple of games?
Yeah. Over the last couple of games and in practice, it shows up. Like you could tell he's a little more comfortable. Just the more touches that he gets, So it'd be good to see. He's doing a good job.
What do you like about how Jacoby operates the offense?
He's got really good command. Understands what we're trying to get done with each play, and he's a vet that he doesn't really get fooled a lot,
With Bam, do you see him as the starter right now until Trey gets back?
Yeah, I guess because he'll be the first one that goes out, but all three of them to me are have their own role, and we'll see who's running it well, and that guy will probably honestly get a little more touches, So I like our plan going into the game, but you got to be able to adapt in game by what your eyes see too, by what you see.
Denver had a lot of success slowing down this offense last week.
Yeah.
How much can you take from that tape for the Cowboys offense?
Yeah, I thought Vance did a really good job. They got a really good unit, They took the ball away. That helped. Denver's offense stayed on the field, which helped. If you look at that time of possession, that game. And then when they did a pretty good job in the run game. When they got to known pass, they won a lot, whether through, pressure or coverage or whatever it was. They did a really good job. They affected the quarterback, did a good job on those receivers. That's a good unit, though. So, we obviously that was in the cut-ups, but we're different than them. Our players and how we play schematically, we're a little bit different, but try to take something from everybody.
When a team has a big-time wide receiver one, give a little extra attention. What sort of challenge is it when they have two guys who might check that box?
Yeah, Bo, you got me nervous earlier in the week when you asked that. Yeah, it's a numbers game, and you can't have it's tough to put two guys on each guy, They're how they deploy. I think Shotty does a really good job. Clayton does a really good job with those guys, like how they deploy them, what they do with them, what they're asking them to do, how Dak has answers to what you're doing. It's a big-time challenge. They're putting up 40 a game for a reason, So it's not by chance. They're a well-oiled machine. They got really good players, and they can beat you a lot of different ways. So we got to be ready to roll.
Will showed up on the injury report yesterday. Will Johnson, we practiced today?
He'll be out there today. He got a little bit of tightness. My precaution.
We talked a lot about explosives and the takeaway battle, the stats you really like to highlight. Are there any stats that you kind of look at, and overrated might be the wrong word, but I didn't think you know where I'm going.
Like, man, that's a long answer. I look at them all. Here's one for you though. I think this one gets overblown a little bit. Rush yards per game, right? To me, the better stat is yards per carry. Defensively, yards per completion, or the whole air yards thing. I know that gets thrown out there or whatever. You look at the efficiency of it too. QBRs is a interesting thing. boy, we're going down a rabbit hole now. I'm just going to shut up. There's, here, and because I was thinking about you too, Teo, with the stats thing, like, and I look at everything, and I do. That one that they have out there, the DVOA, that one, or the expected points, whatever, that takes into consideration, the value of each unit in the game, throws out, junk ball, as I would call it. Like, that's a pretty good one. But, like, there's stats. If you just look at one stat, or like when you guys when Mark gives me the game book after a game, and you're like, oh, this was good, and this was bad, this was good, this was bad. Like, looking at one stat and trying to paint a picture, I think you can go down the wrong way. Like, yes, that's what happened, but you got to look at why did that happen, and how does that impact the other things that went on in the game too, That's why I say, like, the two winning stats through the course of, time is the ball and explosive plays. So, but you got to do everything else well too to win, you really do.
What's the first stat you look at after a game?
I don't have to look at the paper for that. Wins and losses, man.
Beyond the score, like, was there something you look at? Like,
The score. I typically know if we won the ball or not, and I typically know if we won explosive plays. So those are the first two I look at. I look at those at halftime too. How's it going? You know what I mean? Offensively, defensively, special teams. A lot goes into that, but you start to feel a certain way if you see at halftime where the score is and how it relates to the ball, and explosive plays where the game is trending at that point. Even though the score might be bad or good, the game's trending in a way that you got to be aware of.
This is a little off topic. We're doing a story around the league on coaches' pregame rituals. What's your day like? What for?
It's boring. I really don't have one, Josh. I get up, I go get espresso somewhere, go over the game plan with the two coordinators, get on a bus, go play football. Okay. Thank you, guys.